Now coming to the intercostal nerve, here you have the ventral and dorsal root which joins to become the spinal nerve, and the spinal nerve divides into dorsal and the ventral rami. The ventral rami continues as the intercostal nerve, and this intercostal nerve divides into lateral cutaneous nerve and the anterior cutaneous nerve. Okay, here you have lateral cutaneous, anterior cutaneous and the dorsal ramus which continues as the posterior cutaneous nerve. And these three branches, anterior, lateral and posterior cutaneous nerve, are the three nerves which have to be blocked in thoracic surgery. Again I am repeating, you have the dorsal root and ventral root joining to form the spinal nerve, and the spinal nerve divides into ventral rami and dorsal rami. This dorsal rami continues as the posterior cutaneous, ventral rami continues as the intercostal nerve, then divides into lateral cutaneous and anterior cutaneous. So, the nerves which have to be blocked in the thoracic surgery is posterior cutaneous, lateral cutaneous and anterior cutaneous. Anterior cutaneous particularly for the median sternotomy. Now coming to the various blocks. The first and foremost is the thoracic epidural analgesia, where you deliver the drug in the epidural space. It is a well-known form of neuraxial anesthesia. That is the first and foremost for thoracic surgery. Next comes the paravertebral block. Here you block the spinal nerve as it emerges from the intervertebral foramen. You deliver the drug in the paravertebral space and block the spinal nerve as it exits from the spinal foramen. Next comes the erector spinae block. Here the most important landmark is the transverse process. You deliver the drug deep to the erector spinae muscle. Then as the spinal nerve emerges as the intercostal nerve, you have the intercostal nerve block. Here the most important landmark will be the posterior axillary line. You deliver the drug in the posterior axillary line in the intercostal space. That is very important. Next you have the serratus anterior block. Here the serratus anterior block can be superficial and deep. Here the most important landmark is going to be your mid-axillary line, and the muscle involved is the serratus anterior and the latissimus dorsi. You have two blocks, superficial as well as deep. Next comes the PEX block. Here coming to PEC 1, here it is between pectoralis major and pectoralis minor muscle, and here you target the medial and lateral pectoral nerve. Coming to PEX 2, here you deliver the drug in the facial plane between pectoralis minor and serratus anterior muscle, and here you extend the block to the lateral thoracic wall. Now coming to PIFP and TTB. PIFP is nothing but pectointercostal facial plane block. Here you block the facial layer between pectoralis major and the external intercostal muscle. You deliver the drug between pectoralis major and the external intercostal muscle. And finally coming to the transverse thoracic muscle nerve block. Here you block the space between internal intercostal muscle and the transverse thoracic muscle. So you have entire intercostal nerve root, and what are the various blocks given in thoracic surgery? You have thoracic epidural analgesia, erector spinae muscle, paravertebral, intercostal nerve block, serratus anterior block, PEX 1 and 2, transverse thoracic muscle nerve block, and pectointercostal facial muscle plane block. Now coming to the regional anesthesia which is involved in thoracic surgery. As I said earlier, the most important thing is going to be intercostal nerve block, epidural analgesia, your paravertebral block, and various ultrasound guided block like your serratus anterior and the erector spinae block.